You may not know this, but your binge eating problem may not be emotional. You probably are addicted to binging. You probably crave binging. There's an extreme neurological component behind binge eating disorder. Imagine you're driving past Krispy Kreme. You see the building, but you also see the hot sign is on. You know what that means. You also smell the sugary glaze coming off from the building. What you see and smell is picked up by the brain through your eyes and the olfactory nerves in your nose. All of this information transfer leads to intense psychological and sometimes physical craving of hunger for donuts. First, let's look at the parts of the reward circuit. The first part is the prefrontal cortex. It is just the initial part of the frontal lobe. The second region is nucleus accumbens. It is one of the most primitive structures in our brain, and it is located at the base of the frontal lobe. The third structure is ventral tegmental area, and it is part of the midbrain. This is also one of the primitive structures, which is located at the base of the brain. The dopamine reward system is a wanting system. It's not a liking system. It moves you towards something you want, something you crave, not something you like, which all could be subconscious. The prefrontal cortex sends signals to the ventral tegmental area and the nucleus accumbens, which means it exerts top-down control over these structures, which means that it just controls the activity and the signaling of dopamine from these structures. In neuroscience, these structures are called modulators, meaning it accelerates or decelerates the activity of dopamine signaling from the ventral tegmental area and the nucleus accumbens. Ventral tegmental area synthesizes dopamine and sends dopamine to the nucleus accumbens and the prefrontal cortex. Dopamine signaling in this region and the connections increase in the anticipation of the reward. So when you're expecting to drive past Krispy Kreme, or when you're actually driving past Krispy Kreme, is when the brain activity in these regions increase due to dopamine. In nucleus accumbens, dopamine signaling is important in learning about food preferences. This is neuroplasticity, which basically means nucleus accumbens changes in response to preferences of foods that you have. The fact that you drool all over Krispy Kreme donuts is because sometime in your life, you found Krispy Kreme as to be one of the most delicious foods you've ever eaten in your entire life. You can thank nucleus accumbens for creating strong memories about that first donut bite you had from Krispy Kreme. Now let's say you are a Krispy Kreme donut addict. You're hooked on Krispy Kreme. Eating 7 donuts in one sitting is no problem for you. Here are some reasons why you overeat on donuts from the reward circuitry perspective. The first reason is loss of dopamine receptors in nucleus accumbens. Nucleus accumbens is a brain region which will be made up of cells, neurons, and these neurons will have receptors. These receptors respond to dopamine. Reduction in dopamine receptors has been hypothesized to create insensitivity towards certain foods. As a result, animals and humans in several research studies have been found to overeat on ultra-processed foods like donuts as a result of this loss of dopamine receptors. Just think about this for a second. When you're sending signals from the ventral tegmental area to the nucleus accumbens via dopamine, you need reception sites to receive the dopamine. When you don't have these enough reception sites, the dopamine signaling is basically not efficient. And since dopamine is not responsible for reward, dopamine signaling increases and overeating occurs as a result of it. Some studies have also shown that obese individuals have less dopamine receptors in nucleus accumbens compared to lean individuals. And interestingly, drugs that block dopamine receptors in nucleus accumbens has shown to increase binge eating behavior in mice. The second thing is the connection between the prefrontal cortex and nucleus accumbens is extremely weak. The loss of connectivity between PFC and nucleus accumbens results in impulsivity because there is no top-down control. Prefrontal cortex cannot modulate the nucleus accumbens activity and the dopamine signaling effectively. This leaves nucleus accumbens unhinged to develop strong learning towards the need for donuts. Now that you know the dysregulation that goes on in the reward circuit, I'm going to end this video with 3 actionable tips that allows the reversal of this neuroplasticity in nucleus accumbens. My first tip is to eat high quality food that has adequate macronutrients in it. Fats, proteins, carbs, etc. You know what I mean. If lean subjects have optimal number of dopamine receptors on nucleus accumbens, then that means those individuals are carrying out certain types of healthy habits, including prioritizing quality macronutrients in their meals. They have the access to fruits, veggies, healthy fats, healthy carbs, and lean protein. Prioritizing real food can create this habit and neuroplasticity in the nucleus accumbens that somehow favors a healthy reward circuitry. And again, this might also increase the top-down control from PFC to nucleus accumbens. Second tip is to prioritize protein and fiber. There was a study done where they give subjects a high fiber and protein shake 30 minutes prior to pizza. What they found was their desire to indulge on pizza significantly reduced when the individuals had the protein and fiber beforehand. What this suggests is the satiation from protein and fiber may lead to decrease in these food cravings and somehow restore the healthy neuroplasticity in the reward circuit. Last thing is, do not cut your favorite foods out cold turkey. This will only increase dopamine signal. Do you remember the time when you totally cut out donuts in your diet just because you wanted to be healthy? How did that work out? You probably just ended up binging on donuts. Your reward circuit will create strong food cravings subconsciously that will force you to move towards the food reward you were looking for. You have to be aware of what foods trigger binge eating in you. Everyone has those foods in their life that triggers binge eating. I hope you liked this video. I hope it was fun just learning about the dopamine circuit. I love this topic. I love the neurobiology behind our food eating behavior and overeating. Like this video if you like this video. Share this if you found it interesting. And most importantly, subscribe to my channel to learn more about neuroscience, biology, health, science, fitness, and self-improvement. Thank you for watching. I will catch you again in a podcast or a YouTube video. See ya.